91%. That is how much Audi's operating profit collapsed in a single quarter, not one struggling division. The whole group, one of the most recognized premium names on earth, running a margin of 4.6% in the quarter that was supposed to prove the transformation was working. Meanwhile, the brand it owns, Lamborghini, a company Audi acquired, was running at 27%. The parent being carried by the margins of its own subsidiary, not during a recession, not during a model changeover year, not because some external shock blindsided an otherwise healthy business. Right at the moment, Audi was announcing a Formula One entry for 2026, celebrating record electric vehicle orders and presenting itself to investors as a premium brand in mid-transformation with clear direction. This is not a story about a company caught in a difficult market cycle. This is the story of a company that made confident decisions for a decade, announced each one as proof of strategic clarity, and is now asking its workers and its buyers to absorb the cost of being wrong. But to understand how Audi ended up here, you need to understand where it all began. Go back to 2022. That was the year Audi became untouchable, at least on paper. Revenue of 61.8 billion euros, operating profit of 7.6 billion euros, a margin of 12.2% that made competitors take notes. Every brand under the four rings was running at peak. Lamborghini broke its own delivery record. Bentley broke its own delivery record. Ducati broke its own delivery record. Then in 2023, the group delivered 1.9 million vehicles, another high watermark. CEO Gernot Döllner, newly appointed in September 2023, described it as a robust foundation for an electric future. He announced an initiative of more than 20 new models. He called 2023 a strong starting point for the transformation. He spoke about premium leadership and competitive confidence, and analysts agreed. This is educational content based on publicly available financial data and industry research. For specific vehicle decisions, always consult a qualified independent mechanic. The four rings were synonymous with advancement. And investors reading those numbers believed them. They were not wrong about the numbers. They were wrong about what the numbers actually meant. Here is what those numbers actually said, and what Audi refused to hear. The 2022 record was not proof that Audi had correctly read what buyers wanted from a premium vehicle brand in a changing world. It was the result of suppressed supply. 2 years of semiconductor shortages had built up a backlog of unfilled orders. When supply chains stabilized, that backlog cleared all at once. Pent-up commitments became deliveries, deliveries became revenue, revenue became profit, and Ingolstadt looked at the peak and called it validation. But there was a fundamental difference between genuine demand and the temporary relief of unclogged supply, and Audi confused the two. If the numbers had been interrogated rather than celebrated, one fact would have stood out plainly. The real demand at full supply for premium electric vehicles priced above 80,000 euros was nowhere near what the backlog implied. The numbers don't lie, the marketing does. Audi built its entire next chapter on a demand signal that was one part genuine and one part inventory correction. By the time that distinction became clear, the strategy was already locked in. Picture what it meant to buy the Audi e-tron in 2018. Audi presented it as a pioneer, their first fully electric vehicle, built in Brussels, a factory with roots stretching back to 1948, 77 years of manufacturing history. You were not just buying a car, you were buying proof that German premium engineering had arrived in the electric era first. Nearly 75,000 euros, the premium paid for progress. Then, the reality of what Audi had actually built came into focus. That Brussels factory was designed to produce 120,000 vehicles per year. In its best year, the Q8 e-tron, as Audi eventually renamed it, hoping a new name would sell what the original name could not, moved fewer than 48,000 units globally. Audi contacted 26 potential buyers to take over the Brussels plant or invest in keeping it alive. All 26 declined. On February 28, 2025, the last car rolled off the line. 3,000 workers went home permanently. In the weeks before, some had burned tires outside the gates in protest. The Pioneer had been discontinued, not because the segment failed, because Audi had misjudged what the segment actually needed from a vehicle it could only justify at that price. Audi's unspoken contract with its buyers rested on 4 words engraved in every campaign it ever ran: Vorsprung durch Technik, advancement through technology, The four rings meant you were purchasing the car that was already ahead, not the car trying to catch the leader itself. When you committed to an Audi at 80,000 euros or beyond, you were buying the certainty that German precision had solved what every rival was still attempting. Value retention followed from that certainty. Advancement held its price. Then came January 2026. Chinese Audi dealers, unable to move inventory, began offering the 2026 Q3 and Q4 e-tron at 50% below list. The A3, a flagship entry point for the brand, at 40% off. Multiple Audi dealerships across China simply closed, without announcement, without a transition plan. This is what they counted on you not knowing when you signed. Lamborghini does not sell Huracans at half price to clear stock. Bentley does not run clearance weekends on the Continental. The advancement through technology brand had reduced itself to a fire sale in the market it most needed to win. The collapse in China did not arrive in isolation. While Audi was cutting its prices in half on one side of the globe, a second front collapsed in the opposite direction. United States sales fell 14% in 2024, then another 16% in 2025. In the first quarter of 2026, North American deliveries dropped 27% year-over-year, the worst single quarter in 14 years. A brand that delivered 228,000 vehicles in the United States in 2023 was projecting approximately 144,000 for 2026. That is a 37% decline in 3 years from a single market. Even the core SUV models, the Q3, the Q5, the Q7, posted double-digit sales declines. Tariffs added a €1.2 billion blow to 2025 financials alone, cutting into a brand that manufactures nearly all of its US-bound vehicles at European plants with no domestic production buffer. Two markets, two entirely different causes, both deteriorating at the same time. Subscribe right now so the sales trajectory data we track on every major import brand reaches you before your next purchase, because what we are about to show you compounds everything already covered. What does a company do when its two largest markets are both in retreat simultaneously? It cuts to the bone and fights for the core. Audi chose a different word for it. CEO Döllner called it an agreement for the future. Personnel adjustments are necessary, he said. The numbers behind that phrase: 7,500 jobs eliminated by 2029, 14% of Audi's German workforce. The worker at the Neckarsulm plant, who told a radio interviewer that day was not a day to rejoice, was not being dramatic. He was reading the agreement accurately, and the finances confirm the reading. Fewer Audi deliveries mean smaller order volumes flowing to component suppliers. Suppliers spread fixed costs across fewer units, raising the price per part. Audi's margin tightens further. Dealers facing slower traffic cut their inventory commitments. Audi loses the production scale that keeps per-unit manufacturing costs viable. Costs rise again. Pricing power erodes further. The spiral is self-reinforcing with no mechanism that reverses it from inside. And it has already started. The four rings stood for something specific. 3 generations of buyers across Europe chose Audi because those rings represented a belief that German engineering had already solved what everyone else was still working on. A grandfather who drove an Audi 80 across 2 decades because it simply held together. A father who moved up to the A4 and passed the reasoning down. Buy what was built to last, not what was built to impress. A child who chose the Q5 because that is what the family drove and always had. 3 generations trusted this brand. That trust was not inherited. It was re-earned with every vehicle that delivered on the promise. Now Audi is creating a sub-brand in China called Audi. The same word, no 4 rings. Specifically because the 4 rings no longer command a premium price. Before any major purchase, look up your VIN in your country's official recall database. Before any significant repair, seek an independent mechanic with no financial relationship to the dealer. Their diagnosis reflects your interest, not the service department's revenue target. Drop a comment right now and tell me what year and model you drive, and whether the 4 rings still mean what they used to. The nightmare scenario for Audi is not a filing. It is a slow replacement. Audi in China, no 4 rings, Chinese-engineered vehicles sold under a German word because the actual badge no longer justifies the price. The Ingolstadt headquarters announces 7,500 jobs gone and calls it an agreement for the future. Brussels, 77 years of manufacturing, is a closed building with a social plan attached to its final paperwork. You are still making the payment on a vehicle whose badge means less. Each quarter it sits in a depreciation curve steeper than what the window sticker implied. The brand that staked its entire identity on being ahead, Vorsprung durch Technik, watches the advancement happening in factories it does not control, on platforms it did not design, under names it invented to escape its own reputation. The nightmare scenario, an Audi that persists as a nameplate while the engineering authority that made the name worth anything is quietly transferred elsewhere, is no longer a forecast. The agreements have been made, the factory is closed, and in Ingolstadt, the people who signed those agreements have already moved on to negotiating what comes next.